back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making Nigerian Banga Soup. Well, I shouldn't say Nigerian because it's not the whole of Nigeria that eats this soup. It's more tailored to Delta states, the Urobo and Isoko people. I'm going to start off by washing some beef precisely. For this soup, you can use chicken, you can use beef, you can use fish. I'm going to be using beef and some dried catfish. I'll show you the rest of the ingredients shortly. Alright, so these are some of the ingredients I'm going to be using today. So because I'm going to be boiling the meat, I'm just going to already chopped up some onions. I'm going to put those in. Here I have some dried catfish. I'll add that later in, like at the end, because it could easily break up. I don't want it broken. I'm trying to keep it whole. Here's the banga. Because we're in the US, of course, everything is canned. So here's the banga. Ghana Fresh Palm Cream. That's the actual name, but the name of the soup is Banga Soup. And then here I have some crayfish, some dried shrimps. This is the head of the dried shrimps. I'm going to blend these two. I'll put this whole in the soup. And then I have a tablespoon of salt. I have some seasoning cubes here. And then here is the spices for the soup. I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but it's a mixture, it's a blend of spices. So we just call it Banga spices. So first off, I'm going to start off with the onions. The seasoning cubes and the salt. So that's all I'm going to start off with for right now. So over here I have my meat on fire on medium to high heat and let that boil. So I have the crayfish, the head of the shrimps, and 1 habanero pepper as usual in my blender. I'm just gonna blend that kind of roughly, not so smooth. So it was a little bit too rough, rougher than I wanted. So I added a little bit of water into it, and I'm gonna blend again. This consistency looks really good. Set that aside. So my meat is boiling. The meat isn't completely soft yet. Adding the banga in the palm cream purposely at this point because I don't want the meat to get too soft before I add that in. So this is congealed, really concentrated. That's why we need a lot of water to get it to a soupy consistency. That's what it looks like in there. I'm going to put some hot water in here to get everything out. Have some hot water in there. So at this point, I'm going to just let this boil for a few minutes. In fact, more than a few minutes, because it needs to cook. I'll show you what it looks like after it has boiled for a while. So it's about 30 minutes now. The soup is kind of boiling. It's not ready yet, so I'm going to be adding in some of the ingredients, because I'm adding them in at different stages. This is the crayfish, shrimp, and habanero going in. I'm going to add half of the Banga spices because I'm just not sure how much I'll need. I'll put half of this and then I'll taste it later on when it has incorporated to decide if I need more. Stir. I'll let this boil for a little bit and then I'll taste for salt and Banga spices and seasoning. So the shrimp and fish will join in later on. The soup is getting thicker. You can see it's changing the way it looks, consistency. At this point, I'm going to add in the shrimp. And then there's this other herb that we use. I'm not sure what it's called either. I'm sorry. So it's just a bunch of spices we call Banga spices. I don't know. When you go to buy and you tell them you want to buy Banga spices, they usually know what you're trying to get. I get these from Nigeria, by the way. I'm not sure where to get them here, so I usually get my spices from Nigeria. I'm fortunate to always have someone going and coming, so it's easy to get things I need. And then finally is my fish. I'm gonna put my fish in. I'm gonna turn down the heat. This is getting really splashing a lot. How do you like to eat your soup? What do you eat it with? We could pair this with starch or just any swallow you like, any swallow of your choice. Over there I'm boiling some yams, Nigerian yam, of course. I am gonna be pounding that. I'll be using my food processor to pound that into pounded yam. I'm gonna have that with my soup. This is the end product. This is what my soup turned out to look like. In the past, I used to remove the oil from the top just because I didn't want it to be too oily. But now, I actually like the oil. Because I realize when I remove the oil, the soup becomes very thick. So here it is. I'm going to show you guys how I make my my poundo yam. All right, so I left my the soup to simmer for just a few more minutes, and now it's completely ready. I'm going to turn it off. I also tasted for salt and seasoning. I just added a little bit more salt, just a pinch more. And now it's done. Thank you for tuning in today. Hope to see you next time.